day 2 of getting off work early, I'm like, finally. So I don't know what I want to do today, and there's anything I could do, and it's crazy because I've never had the opportunity just to do whatever I want. Now I feel like I have the opportunity to do something, and opportunity comes once in a lifetime, so might as well work on Theed. Now it's just my decision what section of Theed I would like to work on. It seems like the only section left I have right here. I want to do something really cool. First, I'm going to do a pretty cool sketch. I usually do on the whiteboard, but currently I'm using it and it's occupied, so probably just going to sketch a good old-fashioned pencil and paper. I always like to do a top-down view, a side view, sometimes a three-quarter view, which is like the isometric type. Because having a nice plan to work from is so helpful because you have a guideline to go off of, and there's always potentially future opportunities that I can improve upon. That's why sketching, it's a sketch and it's a draft, and I get to revise it. Because this doesn't take like overnight. I designed pretty much everything here, especially with 1313. Like I sketched, planned out everything prior, so let's do it. So I've been sorting out a bunch of these parts over here, but meanwhile I've been trying to find some pretty cool parts in order for me to make the speeder deployment area, which I started doing a digital design, but I decided to stop doing that and start doing it in real life because the amount of time I take to design it in stud.io, I could just be making it in real life. So came up with this pretty cool design. I don't know, I'm just really proud of the overall structure. I decided I want to have more heavy duty equipment being featured in this clone base. And so this was pretty much my first draft of a physical Lego, I guess, creation. And right here, I left spacing for some gears to be placed there and there at the bottom. And all I need is some track to connect both ends. And then I'm going to connect the motor through this bottom section underneath here. That's why it's a big gap, because the speeder was going to go over and under. I'm utilizing the same part as I used over here, these support beams, but I utilized it in dark bluish gray instead. And I like the color contrast, because everything has its own color theme and everything's very easily identifiable. Like, that's the path. Here's the path over there. There's yellow caution lines, don't go over there. But I really want to make a lot of speeders. When I mean a lot, I mean like more than 50. Or at least 50. Just a enormous amount. That'd be cool having some sort of like scrapyard or something in this clone base, because if it's a facility, they have to get rid of material. And of course it's a battle, so they want to get rid of all these leftover materials like scrap. Seems like this whole area over here has been coming together very slowly. It's just that the coming up with the good ideas takes a lot of time for me, at least good ideas. Like coming up with this nice clone displayed wall took a while. There's so many iterations and designs I could have gone with, but I decided this display the most clones helmets as physically possible within the given space. I think I did an amazing job with that. The only part I need now is a little ladder system to go back and forth, or some type of scissor lift going top to bottom. And over here I have a bunch of barracks. Came up with some pretty cool designs over there, and of course the medic center. I actually bought a bunch of new clones to showcase in the barracks as well as the medic bay, and I can't wait to show those off because I bought some clone cadets to really spice up this area. Having regular clones is okay, but having younger clone cadets be sheltered to safety would be just a cool little detail, and that's why I always go for it. Just the small little details that everyone will notice, but I'll never have to point it out. I must say, this is one of my proudest clone base I've ever worked on, and it's pretty much an accumulation of a lot of different design techniques I've gathered over the years. What my dream clone base is coming out to be, because I like to design with purpose and function and form thought process. So everything needs to have a purpose. So this hallway, usually hallways have a bunch of empty space, so I utilize this area over here for part of the armory, and that's the entrance, so of course there's going to be a lot of empty space for the entrance. And then once you enter, you're able to go to the command center or straight to the armory, and vice versa. If you're a clone waking up from a nice nap over here, you have the opportunity to gather all your gear and just head out to battle. Or if you really want, just head down here, hop in the gunship, open the bay doors, fly off. But since I have this pretty cool rack system over here. Just hop on a speeder, hop on a gunship, and then take off. So there's a lot of different possibilities with deployment. Like a V-wing over here, I added the 2005 version, or 2007, not sure. And then some ATRTs over there, want to include a lot more. Then the fuselages of a Clone Wars Y-wing is in the corner. Some pretty cool design palettes, want to utilize those. Have a bunch of boxes and crates everywhere. So this has taken like 5-ish months, and I'm very satisfied with the overall results so far. Now it just seems like the little details I need to fix. Like around here, I need some angle pieces, so replace that walk path right there. And then gather all those parts. Some 2x4 tile over there, and then cover up that section. I need one single pane glass over there. Then on top of all of this, I'm gonna have the really cool motorized bay doors opening horizontally. So that's gonna look absolutely insane, showing off pretty much this entire area from here down to here. So I finished up this design, and it's pretty good so far. The only thing that sucks is that this motor is too fast, so I have to get larger gears and some smaller gears to make this rotation a little bit slower, because right now it's just way too fast to do anything on. But I'm going to turn it on, but I have to hold down the motor as well. But it doesn't fall apart at all, so that's pretty good. So let's go forward. Pretty loud. I fixed the problem, just added 2 bricks to the bottom and then a plate. Totally solved the issue. So I can turn it on. So you can tell it's super loud, and it wouldn't have this problem if it was going slower. But right now it's like on crack, so they don't want to do that fast. Something 9 times slower than that, but all I have to do is add some extra plates right here, and then connect some 1x2 headlight bricks, and then place these speeders on the side of those headlight bricks, and then it's going to be able to rotate, which is going to be pretty cool. I checked the mail, and there's a bunch of stuff. So let's go to this first one. There's many times where I forget what I order, which is kind of a bad problem to have, but I don't think this is LEGO related, but let's see. So I ordered a bunch of different CDs from NF, and this one's Therapy Session. Most of you guys probably don't listen to NF, but he's one of my favorite artists pretty much of like all time. My Lincoln doesn't have any Bluetooth capabilities or anything like that, so the only way I can use music is through CDs. So I bought Therapy Session, Perception, The Search, and my sister gave me Drifting album, and as well as Hope. Well, I have 5 CDs from NF right now, and 2 of them are signed by him himself. I've been listening to the same 2 CDs for the past year straight, pretty much every single day. 2 CDs. I'll just flip them back and forth. But now I have 5 CDs to go from, because after work I'll often listen to NF for a few minutes while I'm just driving around the neighborhood. It gets my mind thinking about other things, and let's go off to this package. This one's gonna be a pretty cool order. Make sure you don't see any of my stuff. So in this little box, so I ordered 2 custom GCC minifigures. I pull this one out of the bag. You probably guys can see just by the silhouette of this figure. It is the Senate Guards. They have like the Trojan horseman helmet thing, but dual. So they're even more crazy looking. I bought this through Camino Bricks. It's pretty much impossible to see from this angle, but it's a pretty beautiful figure up close. I really enjoy the overall Lego-esque style that they were able to do. And these were $20 a piece. I do plan on removing the black head that it comes with and replace it with a custom clone head. And I can't wait to put this in the clone base, because having 2 of these guys with Chancellor Palpatine just like chilling in his office somewhere. So let's get on to a close-up. And here's a close look at Palpatine with his nice Senate Guards on either side of him. And I replace the black heads with really cool AV decal clone custom heads. That's a mouthful. But the guy on the left is nice and smiling. The guy on the right is like totally PO'd. I also made sure to include some pretty cool spears, but I'm absolutely digging the overall color contrast with the dark red for Palpatine and dark blue from the 2 Senate Guards. Something about these really cool custom molded helmets just adds so much character to these guys that I don't think would have made that same effect otherwise. And it really does help they all have nice, cool sloped robes. It gives that nice consistency. It shows that they're part of the same group. The print job on these GCC figures are pretty insane. The way they're able to match the same designs, I guess, style as Lego is pretty awesome. I don't know if they took this design off of Skywalker Saga, but something about their thickness of the lines seemed very accurate to Lego's thickness of lines, and their art style just matches kind of seamlessly. And 10 years ago, if you'd said these were fake Lego and knockoffs, I would have been totally turned off. But over the years, I've totally enjoyed the custom experience of the third market pretty much. Because Lego will never make these, especially in this quality, and custom designers have been doing it for so many years. I don't even bother purchasing many Lego sets because I can just buy a custom printed Engineerio figure or a GCC figure, and I feel like there's so much more value from one figure than an entire set nowadays, which is unfortunate because they're so small in a mock without seeming out of place because they're too small. I remember the days when things used to be big and awesome and cheap. Of course, they're less detailed, but some would rather sacrifice that detail for larger sets. I'd love to know what you guys think about that in the comments below. So I added those Senate guards on the little balcony up there, and I think they fit in perfectly because they really do have that menacing stance. And I would definitely want to have these guys on my side if I had all these separatist leaders negotiating peacefully. Admiral Trench over there looks a little bit fishy. I don't know how well you can trust these guys, especially Wat Tambor, because he's a little greedy guy. I want to say these are the final placement for these figures, but there's just so many different figures that I have that I can display, and I feel like this makes sense to have all these figures in this one spot because they're negotiating terms of service pretty much for this battle that's going on in the entire city of Thebes. So understand why all these important leaders would be in one room. That's why it's highly defensed around the entire perimeter on both sides. No one's coming in, no one's coming out. Otherwise, these commandos over here are gonna chop you up, or these guards up here are gonna shoot you with the spears. Honestly, I might as well add Palpatine in the mix as well, because he's orchestrating this entire thing, and look how happy he is. His plan's coming together so awesome. It seems like he can't wait just to be captured by General Grievous and these guards. Maybe he's hoping on it. Almost like planning it the entire time. Kind of weird. Hey guys, just got home from work. Picked up the mail. Cool thing, there's a nice Engineero package waiting for me. On May the 4th, I think it was like 20% off. And I've never had the opportunity to buy clearance Engineero figs at such a huge discount. So I think this was like a $140 package. But then again, it was like $30 off. So it came pretty much like with one free minifigure, which of course it's super expensive. It's like a day and a half worth of work for me. But this is what I invest in. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything that I'm not technically supposed to. So this is my technically drug. But honestly, this is a lot more worth it because it's a tangible item and it's something that lasts forever. I know it's a bunch of figures, so let me slowly open this. Let me grab just this. Oh, there's a spider. I killed it. Okay. Just this one. Let's see what this one is. So this one is the police droid for like Coruscant Underworld. I bought 2 of these, I believe. I'm just gonna bring all of them out and then show close-ups later on. So I'm not even gonna look. Don't want to spoil it for myself. So we got this one, which is, I think her name is Marin, off of Jedi Fallen Order. That's awesome because I bought this not knowing that Cal Kestis is coming to the new Star Destroyer, and the fact that I bought this the same time that was announced, it was like a match made in heaven because they're like together, spoiler alert, and can't have one without the other. I really want to showcase this in 1313. I do have my own custom version of Cal Kestis, but my version actually comes with a poncho, not like Lego.
How has Cal evolved since we last saw him? What's going on with him?
Well, first thing I noticed is he's not wearing a poncho.
Cameron!
Right.
I think it's okay representation for Cal Kestis. It's just that the hair, it matches off of Jedi Fallen Order 2, because in that game, you're able to customize Cal Kestis, his poncho, his clothing, all the outfits pretty much, and you're able to customize his hair. And I often watch Scary Game Squad by Jesse Cox.
No way. What?
Dude, you are a literal Jedi Knight.
I God tier. This is like when Super Mario had
Yo!
the cape and Yoshi.
What the? That's so neat.
What is this game sponsored by No Man's Sky? Do you see how big this fucking thing is?
But we can't go to all that.
Big. We made the game big thanks to our sponsor, No Man's Sky.
Wait, you don't even go there?
No.
That's just sort of cool. Okay.
If you go to the map, it looks like it is just a valley to death.
One of my favorite YouTubers, just because it's so much like friendship or just sitting on the couch playing games together. One of their customizations they chose was to have Cal Kestis with a mullet, kind of recreate what I saw from my perspective. And then later on, I bought the game myself with my own hard-earned money, of course. And I was able to recreate this figure, so I can't wait to get the new version, official version of Cal Kestis. That's gonna be awesome. I just don't want to buy like $160 set just for one figure. So I'm probably just gonna buy it off the aftermarket for like $20, which is insane, but it beats having to pay $160. Go in the next bag. This one. Shmi. Lego will never make Shmi. If they have, they would have, and I don't know why it took so long for them to make Aunt Beru. That took like 20 years for them to get to that figure, and she's like a prolific, well-known character in Star Wars. Shmi is literally the mother of Anakin, and Lego's never made Shmi. So that's one figure I knew I had to have in my collection. This one is, I actually finished watching The Bad Batch Season 3. Love the finale. Absolutely love the entire series. I don't care what anyone else thinks about the series. I loved it. I love the different adventures that we're able to go on. So I want to get the Imperial bad guy, I forgot his name. I'll show up in a close-up and give all information. But I thought this is an awesome representation of that character, the main bad guy in Season 3. It sucks that he was just killed off really easily. I understand he's just a guy, but they could have like drawn it out a little bit more. I know it was only an hour finale, but they could have like fleshed a little more out. The next one is another police droid guy thing. I've actually wanted these for years. They've just never been in stock. I don't know why. Sometimes people don't restock certain things. I know supply and demand, but like I've always wanted this figure. Even back when I was building 1313, this was never in stock. And now 1313 is done, so I can get to spice up that mock even more. Emery, I think that's her name, which is the cloning officer that was taking care of Omega and Mount Tantus. And I absolutely love her arc. I understood that she was a clone too, so she was going to turn eventually. I just didn't know how that was going to be implemented, because I knew the kids were going to change her perspective on the entire situation. But the moment that she gave the little Took doll to that little green, one of the green creature alien kids, or one of the alien kids, I knew that she was going to be a good ally in the very end of the series, which she was. So I wanted to get these two figures specifically for the clone base. I thought it'd be really cool to have the clone base be set between episode 3 and episode 4. That's like one of my favorite times of the Clone Wars, is the very end of it. That's where the Imperials are getting all their TK1 armor. It's just amazing designs. I love those. And the very last thing is just a quick little business card from Engineerio, because everyone needs a good business card to present. Many of you probably subscribed because I handed you one of these business cards. I always try to just hand these out. I printed out like a lot, but this really shows people that I'm able to just like present myself and then walk away, and next they can look me up if they want on their own time. I feel like everyone needs some sort of social media nowadays. Really grow as a person, mentally and physically, monetarily. Let's get up close-ups. So this is the largest custom order collection of Lego minifigures I've ever purchased in one single order. Having 6 figures, it came out to a total of $126.59. That's the most I've ever spent on figures. But I can guarantee Lego will never make any of these figures, because if they had, they would have already done it. Like Shmi, she's such a well-known character. Like the 25th anniversary of Star Wars literally is this year. That would have been a perfect character to include into the pod racing little mini set. That's what's really upsetting to me. All of those little mini sets could have had literally just like one little awesome figure, I guarantee would be more in sales. But Lego's not going to make these figures, so the third market does it, and I'm happy that they do it. Unfortunately, it's super expensive, but the quality on the same level of, if not even better than Lego.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
I want to put all these figures together in one spot to showcase them. So, on the far left, we have Emery Carr right here.
I'm here to inspect the specimen. Who I am is none of your concern.
Toto, bring out the kid. Problem.
This specimen is younger than I expected.
Then he'll be less trouble.
I need to test him for confirmation.
She is an amazing figure, because if I bring her closer to the camera, the cool thing about her, she actually has a double-sided head. And she's like screaming too. I absolutely love that terrified look. It's such an amazing, finely detailed printed face. I'm super impressed with Engineerio's ability to really recreate a figure out of Lego. Unfortunately, no leg printing, but she didn't really have any details really worth showing on her legs. But on her left arm, she's sporting a really cool little clone insignia, because that's her job, is to attempt to clone clones. That way they can have force sensitivity. Spoiler alert, but that's Emery Carr. Then next to her, Hemlock. But
Hello, Prime Minister. Apologies, former Prime Minister.
Why have I been brought here?
The cooperation of your chief scientist has not been forthcoming. Nalase's defiance is problematic. How very interesting. It seems we have much to discuss.
But this version of Hemlock is not having like the resin printed 3D hairpiece. Instead, it's just a regular hairpiece for Lego. But I think that's even better because it's official. I did replace the legs because they weren't as detailed. They were just regular boots, dual molded kind of boots. And I didn't like that at all. And I really want to include a little bit more detail. So I had this officer legs. So I replaced those, which I bought from AV Decals and has 360 printing, which is amazing. Really adds this figure a lot more than it does. It's very clean, crisp lines, which I always love that about Engineerio's printing quality job. Even the mark where he had a little cutout of his eyebrow is present clearly right there. And the overall design fits perfectly with the Lego officer figure. There isn't any back printing or side arm printing, which is okay because he literally just wears a jacket and some boots. So he's not a well-recognizable figure, but these figures together are very recognizable. And it helps that I have a lot of these really cool commandos. Literally, there's one more. These are all the commandos I have, well, except Commander Cody right here, Imperial version. But these figures together with Hemlock and Emery Carr, it just add so much detail to certain scenes, and it really gives me the opportunity to showcase different scenes with these new characters. Like, what would Emery Carr be without Omega? So of course I have to have Omega next to these two. Hemlock wouldn't be really interesting, but with Emery Carr and Omega next to him, with all the other amazing troopers that I have, it just adds so much more detail and more storytelling. That's what I'm trying to go for, you guys. Just storytelling adds everything is storytelling. Without storytelling, it's pointless. There's no point of making anything because you don't know what you're looking at. If there's a story, backstory behind it, of course you're going to want to continue. Okay, so off to the right with these two guys right here are the GU police droids. I bought two of them because in the Clone Wars they're seen in multiple packs, and they are very cool, nice droid details on the very torso and legs. Oh, oops. I'm getting some C-3PO vibes from this guy. I love the additional Lego piece right here to indicate that his head is elongated. And it even has the little underworld insignia at the top right of his torso. Love that detail. Of course, side arm printing. On the back side has some pretty cool little wire details. It's not too detailed, but remember guys, this is a animated version of the GU droid, the GU police droid. And of course this isn't a realistic version. If it was, it would have a lot more detail. which is okay because I'm satisfied with the overall design. Let's go off to Shmi.
Yes. I guess.
Then we will see each other again.
I killed them all. And not just the men, but the women and the children, too. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals.
So this figure is surprisingly well detailed. Even the little wristbands have a nice clear circle design on both sides. Well, actually just on one. That's pretty accurate to the movie. It kind of looks like her face is a little bit too low, because from the mouth is just a little bit like on her chin, which maybe it's very accurate to the actress, but that's the only little complaint. It's not even a complaint. It's just a little bit lower than it should be, which is okay because as you get older, a lot of things kind of sag. I'm not saying that she's old or anything, but as we get older, things lower, you know what I'm saying? But back to the figure. Amazing torso detailing, has the really cool like belt with a bunch of triangles on it. Very accurate. And the back, I think it's blank. Oh, just kidding. That technique continues around the waistband. Looks amazing. So, what would Shmi be without little Annie?
Annie?
What the?
Annie! Little Annie!
Jar Jar, I am no longer Anakin Skywalker.
These are some nice adults, you booba!
Look, Jar Jar, it is very important that you never speak to me again.
What's happened to you? You burn your face?
I bought this like in 2007 with the original N1 Starfighter. Well, technically the second variant of N1 Starfighter. And having these two together, if I was just to have Shmi, it wouldn't really matter at all. Be like, oh, that's a cool figure. But having little Annie
These are so smiling to see in your side!
and Shmi together really adds to the overall scene. Okay, so let's go off to Marin.
Right? I'm Cal Kestis. What you were told about the Jedi was not true.
So you say. Cal. Malicos said many things too.
Terran Malicos might have been part of my order, but what he is now, I have no idea. All I do know is having a lightsaber isn't what makes you a Jedi.
Then what does?
We were peacekeepers. We were betrayed by those we protected. Hunted down by the Empire. I might be one of the last of my kind.
I was only a child when they attacked. An armored warrior brandishing this descended upon us and cut down my people, my sisters, until I was left alone with the dead. Then Malicos came and promised me revenge if I shared our secrets with him in return.
I know what it's like to lose everything. And Malicos was wrong to use that against you. We don't have to be enemies.
You will need this.
There she goes again. What a view, huh? Desert at night seems to stretch on forever.
There is beauty in emptiness.
Now you sound like a Jedi.
I got a few things right.
Not everything. Look, the Order's gone. It's time to leave it behind. And I know what I want now.
Took you long enough.
Remember, this is like the first time I ever looked at these really small details. So the first time you're seeing it is the first time I'm seeing it. Those that you don't know, Marin is a Dathomirian witch from Dathomir, and she was in Fallen Order. She's one of those characters I thought she was going to be a boss and then like moves on, but she really sticks around for the rest of the game. And then in the second game, Jedi Survivor. So I genuinely enjoyed her presence in the video game. Their banter between Cal Kestis and Marin was just, it was really romantic. And I'm a romantic guy, so I'm a sucker for this. But the overall detail on their face, all the little, probably birthmarks, I'm assuming. They're not tattoos or anything because she was probably born like that. Same with Darth Maul. He came from Dathomir, so he's like has permanent tattoos. They're probably just birthmarks. But she's sporting this really cool little triangle necklace. Of course, everything has its own meaning. Like, that probably has its own name for the necklace and type of robes. I'm just so impressed by the overall printing quality and the resemblance of the figure to the actual character in the game. And the hairpiece, I feel like, is an amazing choice because she does have that, like, emo goth kind of style hair. I had no idea Lego had released that type of hairstyle in light gray, which looks really nice. Personally, I think this is my favorite character out of all the figures I purchased today, a few weeks ago. But having her next to Cal Kestis, honestly, I kind of wish I had the official Lego version of Cal Kestis because my custom version for me isn't doing it. It doesn't represent him, at least in Jedi Survivor, the way I want to predict it. But these two figures, hypothetically, they look good if it was official Lego version. So the grand total of all these figures right here is $146.59. Legitimately, this right here is a day and a half's worth of work for me. No sponsors. This is hard-earned money that I earned working a pretty much like 9-to-5 job full-time. So this isn't me bragging. This is me proving to you guys that you can achieve anything that you want in life if you dedicate yourself to your craft and just wait for the right moment to purchase something, knowing that you are able to get it at a discounted price. On top of that, all of these figures right here are quite desirable. So if I really want to resell these later on in life, I could get the same value as I put into it. There's not many things in life that you can purchase something that you can get the same amount of money back. That is why I invest so much money and time into Lego. I love it, and I love that other people love it as much as I do. I'll let us know what you guys think about all these figures in the comments below. I really want you guys to let me know which one's your favorite. My favorite has to be Marin. The details on her robes, the birthmarks on her face match perfectly to the character in the video game. Second favorite has to be the Senate Guards. I've never seen any other unique designed helmet like these before. These ones are just so striking to me. It helps that it has the original cutout. That way I'm able to include a really cool clone head underneath. quick little review of the Droideka set. Horrible little Droideka. I don't like it at all. I wish the legs were a lot better designed, and everything's very disproportional compared to the actual Droideka itself. And the set is phenomenal. It's a lot larger in person than I was expecting. In the videos, I was expecting it maybe to be like a little bit smaller because shrinkflation for some reason. But I love that they include the little lipstick pieces for the eyes. I think this is a very menacing looking droid, and I feel like if they were to do the super battle droid, he would look pretty cool as well. I love that they're able to get the overall shaping and design to the correct height, and everything looks proportional to one another, and I absolutely love this set. It's one of the sets I love to display because it's meant to be displayed. I just wish it had a better Droideka. This is a full package of clear, transparent Lego pieces. I want to utilize a lot of these for the next level of the clone base because I really want to take this to the next level, literally and metaphorically. 1x5x6 panel pieces in here that I use a lot. The hard thing about buying transparent pieces anywhere, you have to have evidence that they're not scratched. And if I was to buy these on lego.com, I wouldn't know the overall scratches that I would be purchasing, because sometimes I've gotten huge gash marks right in the center of some clear panel pieces from companies, and it's like unfortunate because it wasn't their fault. It's just how shiny and brand new the Lego is. But let me pull some of these parts out and see what we got. Looks like there's a bunch of these quarter panel pieces, which are amazing for curvature buildings or back to tanks. I've been using the trans clear and blue for the back to tank window pretty much. So there's looks like a bunch of those in here. And I can finally finish off that one single panel piece I have on the entrance of the clone base. But since I have more, I'm able to raise it. I think it's a 1x2x3 panel piece. A lot of these window pieces are used for more smaller details in buildings, or if I have a huge destroyed window, this is a perfect use because it kind of segments the glass into different parts, make a more realistic explosion. And these panel pieces that I wanted the most. I've already used up all the ones I bought from the Lego store, and they went really fast. And it looks like there's a 1x4x3 panel piece. These are from, of course, larger windows, but they can be used on balconies, and sometimes you can use these for stilts to support ships in the air, so it simulates the flying technique. So here's everything that came in the order. The main reason I bought these for all of these panel pieces and trans clear, honestly, these are one of my favorite parts to use. They're able to just cover up a huge surface area with you allowing to see the interior of a building, and it's the most unobstructed clear panel piece that there is available in Lego. When building things underground, it's super hard to really get the nice details, but if I was to use a bunch of these smaller panel pieces, it would create this like warped looking effect. It's not exactly what I'm going for, so I'm not going to use these smaller panel pieces because I wanted to have a nice viewing angle from every single direction, completely 360 with this clone base. I always design with that in mind, having complete free range of design. The only thing I don't design, top of ceilings in the internal structure, because that's the structure, you're never going to see it, and the ceilings to a lot of things you're not really going to notice. You're going to be looking what's below that's presented, but I'm not going to have a bunch of randomly colored pieces like blues and purples and greens on the top of the clone base, because the same way I built 1313, I never had exposed colors. That's just some good information when designing. So let's go add another floor onto this clone base. So back at Theed, I added these two sections onto Theed, therefore making it look a lot more complete. I absolutely love just the colors, the nice contrast, the yellows, the medium nougats, the tans, dark reds. You just compare the color from Theed to 1313. Of course, 1313 has just an insane amount of detail and color and vibrancy, but this is just like kind of wow sometimes. But those new panel parts, I want to utilize a lot of them on the front entrance of the clone base. Of course, I could just extend this further up, but that's kind of stupid to me because I'm going to be viewing it from a higher angle. So might as well have like a bunch of skylights exposing this hallway right here. That way you're able to view the hallway a lot better. And on top of that, it just gives it a lot more characteristics, a lot of angles, and the slope looks a lot more dynamic. I always try to go for vibrancy, angles, curvature, even the section over here. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna fully commit to that design because that design technique doesn't happen anywhere else within the clone base. It kind of just stands out like a sore thumb to me. I know it has to be a blank wall because the barracks have no backing, literally. And yesterday when I was at the hospital with my dad, I was creating an entire new section over here. And we're talking, you know, because we're waiting in the waiting area for like a good 2 hours. And we came up with a pretty cool idea together. The speeder rack over here would lift up to the second story to the deployment area over here. There's going to be a really cool elevator system. It's a lift that's going to have 2 arms and just raise the speeder up at an angle. Right here, it's going to raise the speeders up to here, and then there's going to be a path. That'd be cool if there was lights installed, going all the way around, nice curve. And then like right behind it, since there's a bunch of empty space, there's nothing right now, but just use your imagination. There's going to be a pretty cool like workshop area for the speeders or ATRTs. And then right below the barracks, I'm going to have a bunch of ATRTs hanging below, and then a little arm that lifts up the ATRT on this little conveyor belt that I'm also going to install. That way I push one button, it lifts the ATRT into place, then lets it go, and the elevator will raise it up to the second story, and then swing it around on this conveyor belt, whip it around a nice bend over here, and then this is where the entrance of the second story is going to pop out. And I really want to have some cool mechanism door that uses gravity to open up, so when an item is approaching the door, it can just slowly lift itself up, and then once it's left the area, it kind of slowly lifts itself back down. I'm not sure if I want to use pneumatics for that. I know there's a pretty cool variety of them on AliExpress, really cheap, but that's an entire new can of worms. I'll get to that when I get to it. It's little steps, baby steps, and then we get to work on the big picture stuff, like the big sliding bay doors. But today's a beautiful day outside. I'm gonna wash my car first and then come back to this later. I still have to wait for the call from if my dad's gonna be released today or not. It's my day off, girlfriend's at work. I would say I'm home alone, but Chloe and Juliet are here. Quite a bit on this brand new section of the clone base. So this is one of my sketches. It's brand new hangar bay. Cool thing about this, I've already completed it, and this is the overall design technique I'm going with. On the sketch, I do have the front of the hangar bay more angled slopeboards inwards, but this one's a lot more flat. Not exactly sure which design I'm kind of preferring. They both look really good to me. I'll try both and see what looks better, but I just took the entire base plate pretty much apart and then just place all those panel parts on either side and add a floor and some nice curved arch pieces around the perimeter right here to give that nice hangar bay effect door style. And having the Shithapede class shuttle right there looks absolutely amazing. The only thing that sucks is that it's not the same size as this hangar bay door. So what I'm going to do is when I'm making the roof, I'm going to have a huge blast radius right here showing that they actually blasted their way in and got past their defense measures, unfortunately, and they just got all their separatist leaders in there and just decided to barge their way in. Because my idea was this area is supposed to be like a diplomatic area for a hangar bay. That way all the politicians and generals and leaders are able to get in and out really easily from the command center. Bad thing about that is if it's exit, that means it's also an entrance. So it looks like the separatists use that to their advantage in this battle. Absolutely loving the overall additions I've done this episode. created this entire area. Well, recreated this entire area. Then over here, added this nice sloped section for the clone base up here. Add this cool gunship, smash it into the entrance. And right here, I want to kind of block this entire area off. I don't have that many more panel pieces left. So what I'm going to end up doing is making a bunch of different 1x5x6 panel parts, just in bricks and tan. That way I'm able to use a lot of these parts more sparingly, where every single section is a panel piece. So that way I'm able to utilize a lot of those more pieces kind of sparingly. That way I can take a lot of these parts and utilize them right here to have a pretty cool sight line from every single angle of this clone base. But now that I changed up that entire front area, it really is coming together. It's going to look like a huge facility, and I'm super proud of it because it's like a 2x5 base plate. Can't wait to start working on more sections and get more levels. Remember guys, all of this is modular, and I can't wait to put those custom LED lights. I have some installed, but they're not permanent. The only thing that sucks is I have to have a permanent solution to a not permanent modular design technique, because every single base plate is separable, and these wires are kind of hardwired, embedded underneath every single plate, which is super hard to take apart. So that's why I'm going to have only one single LED panel piece, and it's going to be covering up the entire surface area of this whole clone facility. That way it's just overhead lighting I have to worry about, and I don't have to think about any little micro LED lights that I have to like wire in between every single panels down below here. Of course it'll look cool, but right now it's not physically possible with this modular design I chose. But thank you guys for watching. That's enough design for this week. Have a great day and see you next time.